Hey, what's going on, everybody? All right, well, welcome everybody to the CommonSKU webinar from busy to bigger. So, CommonSKU for growing teams. My name is Aaron, and I am the VP of Customer Success here at CommonSKU. I've been here for about 10 and a half years, helping teams scale and grow on the platform and working with distributors of all kinds of different sizes, from as small as a couple of people to some of our biggest clients. I've helped them kind of grow on the platform. And that's what a lot of my role is now, even though my name on the screen does say CommonSKU webinar. My name is actually Aaron. So today we're going to talk about some of the features on CommonSKU that you and your team can be using to kind of help optimize your platform and really help you begin to scale and grow a little bit bigger, and uncover some of the buried features inside of CommonSKU that some people forget about, and make sure that you're getting the most out of the platform. And that's the real key here. So where I'm going to start, way back here at the beginning, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about this. It's just making sure that you're reviewing our core workflow. Now, when I say our core workflow, and the reason why I bring this up is that sometimes your workflow, even when you join CommonSKU, is a little bit piecemealed. And what I mean by that is that you may be doing your presentations on CommonSKU, but you're rekeying stuff into QuickBooks or Xero or Zoho or something else, and you're doing only a small piece of the actual order processing through CommonSKU. So where I'm going to start off is just really quickly talking about why using the core workflow is so important and help you go from feeling like you're overwhelmed with way too many orders to having a scalable process to help you become bigger. So I'm going to spend too much time on that, and then we'll jump into some new features and some things that are specific to advanced customers like your or customers on the advanced package like yourself, that you should definitely be taking a look at and making sure that you're utilizing. So let's jump into it. If you do have questions or anything like that, feel free throw them in the Q&A. This is also a recorded webinar, so we can always share a copy of this if you have some colleagues who were not able to make it. So the core workflow really quickly is basically everything inside of a project. If you are not using the core workflow all the way through, this is the easiest place to start to go from busy to bigger, because having everything in one place is key as you're trying to grow your distributorship bigger and bigger and bigger. You want to have your process on rails, and the more that it can be inside of one platform, the better. It just helps create consistency for your clients, creates consistency as you're bringing on new people, and when you're training somebody, you don't have to say, well, Joanne does it like this and Steve does it like this. No, everything is going through same system, same way. And that is a massive thing to make sure that your team is set to scale and get bigger, before you're coming to us and saying, hey, we added a bunch of salespeople. I need to go back and make sure that we're doing this, or how do we do this, and building it after the fact. You want to have some road ahead of you. So what I mean by that is making sure that you're using the CommonSKU workflow all the way through. For me, the big thing about the CommonSKU workflow is building out your presentations. So if you're hopefully already doing this inside of CommonSKU, using our presentations to build out a deck, they're client friendly. This sets the tone for the order. It's really where your branding starts to kick off with the customer. You're sending out a presentation that looks a certain way. You're using and pulling in products from ESP or from Distributor Central or from Sage or from our Connected Plus suppliers, and being able to build decks quickly. The thing about building decks on CommonSKU is it's fast. It's very fast. So being able to pull stuff through here is going to be really key, and starting off your project. From there, it's quickly and easily converting these forward into sales orders, minimizing your rekeying so you're not having to go and take the links or the deck that you built somewhere else and then key it in somewhere like QuickBooks manually. And there's a ton of time lost in rekeying among distributorships from one system to another. So this is where you start to build a lot of that efficiency of building the deck quickly and easily, converting that forward into a sales order for you to send out to your client for them to approve. And then once you do get that approval, which obviously happens through CommonSKU by them clicking on a button, and then it sends you a link saying the client approved it, a link directly back to the order for you to move it forward. It's going through and cutting your POs and get those out to the vendor. And we're going to talk more about these in a few minutes on some of the real big features to make sure you're using. But cutting your POs on CommonSKU, sending them out to the vendor. Again, removing out the rekeying aspect, just having things move down the line and just having to do 1 or 2 click converts to get the information passed because the information's already there. You already filled it out. So why do it again? Right? So converting that forward into a purchase order and getting that purchase order out to your vendor from here. And then the next part of that is really just making sure that you're using the management tool on the purchase order side to the best of your ability. We have a whole production section, our production board that is built solely around managing POs. This is a massive efficiency thing. And as you're going from busy into growing, right? We want to make sure that we're being efficient. And one of the best ways to do that is using our production report. If you're unfamiliar with this report, please reach out and let us know because we would love to walk you through all of the cool things you can do with it. But what we're looking at right now is a quick and easy way for me to update my purchase orders to whatever's going on with them and then quickly update them through here, update my proofs. I have custom actions in here that I can set on what needs to happen next with that PO. I can be filling out shipping and sending out tracking notifications to customers directly from here. There's a whole ton of functionality in here to try and make it easy for you to be able to manage all of the jobs that you have going on at once with all these different vendors in a single place. So make sure that you know how to use this report. And then finally, the last piece of the puzzle is invoicing. Making sure you're creating the invoice in CommonSKU, sending that out. You're completing the client-facing process at that point. You built your deck. You sent the order out for approval. Now you're sending them an invoice. We want that to look consistent, right, for your customer. So making sure that you're creating that invoice, sending it out to your customer, and you're using the integration pieces that are available to you. For everybody on this call, you're all on the advanced package. Using the integrations that are available to you is going to be key because this is a massive difference between the advanced package and the essentials package is you just have more integration options. And so integrating with QuickBooks or QuickBooks Desktop or Xero and using some of the other integrations that we're going to talk about here in a few minutes to even make yourself more efficient and things that again are only available to you in the advanced package and not available on the essentials one. So the key place to start is make sure you have your core workflow down pat, right? That's going to set the stage, set the tone, allow you to scale quickly and go from busy to bigger a lot faster, free up your time to be selling more, free up your team's time to be selling more. Because even in this workflow, as you're moving through from presentation to order to purchase order to invoice, as your company gets bigger, those are going to become handoffs where you're going to have sales handing stuff off to somebody in production to manage the POs and then production handing it off to invoicing or accounting, right? So if our core workflow is down, it's going to be really easy to bake in some of those transitions from one person to another as your distributorship is growing, because as it is, you're going to need more refined roles. It's just something that happens really to everybody. So, hey, we've got our core workflow down. Let's talk about some of the new features or some of the advanced features that I want to just kind of quickly highlight to make sure that you're utilizing. And I'm going to start in your admin area for this. Number one, my favorite feature that we have done in however long is the decorator matrix. With the decorator matrix, if you're not using this already, right now, if you are filling out artwork for on an order, you're having to look up on a piece of paper like how many or how much a 24-piece shirt order is to screen print on. You're looking at a piece of paper, you're trying to like connect the dots. It's a 2-color screen and it's 24 pieces. You're like, oh, that's $1.80, right? Creating those in your decorator matrix area is number one, right? Get that done. Get your matrix uploaded. It's found in your admin area. You just recreate the grids inside of our system because this is also a massive time saver. Basically, if you are not doing that right now, if you want to fill out pricing for this item, for this shirt, for example, I'm having to go and type this in and then type and look up these numbers manually, right? Which, to be honest with you, kind of sucks. Like I don't want to have to go and fill that stuff out manually. So this is where now, if we use our decorator matrix feature, we can click on this. I can select who my decorator is. I can select what decoration charge I'm looking for, type in the number of colors, and it's going to look at the quantity and automatically drop in my cost. And then I can just put in my cell. Okay. Same with my setup charge. I can click here. It's going to remember my decorator. I have all these setup charges, different types of setups, all uploaded. I put in my number of colors, select it, and it drops it in. I'm not going and looking on a piece of paper or a Google sheet or anything else. It's all in here, right? So, so one of those tools, build it out. It doesn't take long to build, but building this out for a little bit and getting this out of the way and telling your team how to utilize it, big time saver. If you can even use it on presentations. This is something that not a lot of people know, but you can use it on a presentation. You can see on this Bell promo item, I can go in and I can say that, we're going to use third-party decorator, but I'm going to add in a decoration charge here. And when I add it in, if I go and I use the matrix on here, then what happens is it's going to look at my matrix. It's going to match up all those different cost quantities with the different quantities listed across here. So I can drop in 5 quantities of a run charge really quickly, okay, without having to look those things up manually again. All right. So really easy way to be able to do that. Quick way to get your decoration charges in. The second thing, we'll stick it with presentations for now, or actually let's stick with admin. A second thing also new to our system is, look, from busy to bigger, you probably want money. Everybody wants more money. So one of the things that we did, and a very common request that we got asked for, is the ability to pass on credit card fees to the end customer. So previously, you were either eating them or adding it manually. We've made that easier. So now in your integrations area under payments, if you have Stripe or Clover Connect, you can actually go and type in what default credit card fee you want to add in for your customer. So if I want to charge 3% if they choose credit card, I can select that. And then when I go and I actually invoice an order to my customer, like I will here, I have the option then to allow a credit card, and I can choose to add a 3% fee on. I can also edit this on a per order basis, but this allows me to not be losing money to credit card fees, recouping some of that. And your client will still have the option. If you're using Stripe, you can also allow ACH, but you can see that on this invoice, my customer actually will have the option to either pay by credit card and see what that additional cost is, or they can pay by ACH and they can see that price difference, right? Talking from busy to bigger, transactions, making those things happen faster will help accelerate your growth. Giving your client that option to pay directly through the platform, passing those fees on. Again, just not something that bog down your bookkeeper or your accountant or whoever it is that's kind of handling your finances. Now, I'll point out a couple of other really quick new features in here. Let's do like two, I've got 2 or 3, I think. Number one is talking about busy to bigger. Well, we want to be less busy doing things that are more tedious. One of the features that got added in recently is the ability to change the margin on your entire presentation or estimate, so or order. So for example, previously we did, if you have 40 items on a presentation, every item has 5 cost columns, and you want to change the price for every item to 35%. Before, you'd have to go through and do that individually, kind of column by column, right? We'd have to go through and we would have to go, okay, I want to change this one to 32, 32, 32. That's annoying. So now what you can do is, on a presentation, for example, I can click select all, hit set margin. I can say, hey, CommonSKU, just update the margin for everything to 32%. And it's just going to run through and it's going to change everything for me to 32. So on a 40 item presentation with 5 cost columns, I'm going from 200 clicks to about 3, right? Working faster, smarter. And really for us, big focus is trying to make some of these things more intuitive, not as time consuming for you, so you can focus on the things that are important. The last thing I'll mention that's also like pretty new, and by pretty new, I mean, I think this got pushed out last week, is on your sales orders, you have the ability now for clients to both approve an order and pay at the same time. This previously was two separate features where you send out a sales order for approval and then you would send out a deposit invoice for payment. Now you can do that together. And that's done in the bottom right-hand corner by requiring an upfront payment. You can make that full or a deposit, right? So we can do that. Let's say it's a deposit. I type in, I want 50%. Great. Now, when I go and send this sales order out to the client, you'll notice at the bottom it says approve and pay. So not only are they approving the actual order itself, but it's also requiring a payment in the bottom right-hand corner as well. So it's going to make all of that stuff happen at the exact same time. Okay, so not two separate forms anymore. One form goes out, approve, pay, move on. Again, trying to do things that are going to be a little bit more efficient for you. So let's talk about a couple of things that are really specific to the people on this webinar, which are some advanced features to make sure that you're utilizing as well as you're going from busy and growing and getting bigger. So the first thing that everybody here should make sure that they are absolutely using, because this is a feature that is specific to, again, these are all advanced specific features, is your management dashboard. Your management dashboard is only available at the advanced tier. And basically, it's taking all of the orders across your entire system and rolling them up to one place. So this allows you to see kind of all of your open orders across every salesperson, look at projections based off of enhanced dates. So blue is any of your pre-sale stuff, yellow is any of your orders, and green are invoices. So it allows you to see how you're forecasting into the year. Like I said, we can see all of our open orders, and all of this stuff is drillable. And then we can also look at things like our pre-sales or orders that are stuck at a particular stage. So orders that haven't moved anywhere in 30 days across the entirety of your system and all of your staff. So making sure that you're using your management dashboard to have a handle on everything and have an idea that as you're getting busier, more is going to be happening. You need a central place to be able to see what's going on. This management dashboard is a great place to do that. Now, along with the management dashboard, we have some lines here that are some goals. So also inside of your admin area, you have a feature that is also specific to the advanced side of things, which is targets. You actually have the ability to go in here and set targets for individual reps. So I can go in and I can look up Erin, for example, and I'm able to set an invoice target and a book target for her for this year and into next year. And it's actually also going to show you what that rep did last year, same time. So I can go through and I can see all of that stuff here to set appropriate targets. If you go through and you set targets for every one of your reps, it's going to do two things. One, it's going to have the rep be able to see that at the top of their individual boards. So they can see what their targets are. They can see what their targets are on their forecast, right? So you can see it at a more macro level. They see it at a bit more of a micro individual level. Now, if you don't have sales targets for absolutely everybody, that's okay. I would say go in, select yourself even, and just put in your company targets. If you just put in your company targets, that's still going to show on your management board and allow you to see how you're kind of trending and which direction you're going. So this is a great way. Start setting some of those goals, see how you're working towards them. Are you really as busy as you think you are? And if you're starting to go into more of a busy to bigger, right? Starting to set those goals and making sure you have something to aim for. Those goals are also going to translate through into your management analytics. The biggest difference to know is your management dashboard is like actionable. This is what's going on right now. Your analytics is more like, hey, this is what's happened this year so far. So your orders versus your invoices versus your target versus last year, your booked orders this year versus last year and your target. Seeing how your staff is performing on a monthly, weekly, or yearly basis of booked orders and invoiced orders. What your client mix is like, which clients are driving orders, which clients are driving revenue. There can be a big difference in that, right? So again, as you're going into a growth mode of having a really good understanding of who your performers are, what your big clients are, what clients are driving revenue are all really, really kind of key aspects of this. Now, another thing that I'll point out really quick that is new and also specific to advanced is if you haven't poked around inside of our reporting section in a while, please make sure you go and take a look. This year, in the past 6 months, we've added a whole bunch of new reports to help you become a little bit more analytical and try and bring some of the information forward for you. I'm not going to dig into all these because we don't have the time right now, surprisingly, to do it. But some things in here that are going to be specific to you all on the advanced side of things is you have a rep comparative report. So basically, this allows you to see your client reps sales for like this year to date versus last year to date, or this month versus last month. So it allows you to look at changes in sales by rep through whatever comparison periods you want. So that's a great way to see how your reps are performing, who's trending upwards, who's trending downwards, and compare how they were doing versus last month, last year, same time, and make sure that they're going in the right direction. You have this exact same report, but not for reps, you have it for customers. So you have a client comparative report. This one allows you to go in and look at your clients and say, hey, what clients bought X from me last year and where are they at this year? Right. So again, doing a really kind of quick, easy comparison just to get a handle on that. So, for example, I want to look at this month versus last month for all of my customers. I can get report and I can see this is how much we invoiced every customer this month versus last month and what that percentage change was. And again, we can play around with these different ranges and parameters to start to do some more comparisons. So those are a couple of the newer reports that are available to you. Another one that has come out kind of recently is a product sold report. So the ability to actually see what you're selling um, amongst all of your clients. If you want to look at this week, for example, or I want to look at this quarter, I can hit get report. I can break this out by client or by supplier, and I can quickly see like what my most popular products are, profitable, all of that stuff in here. Giving you more access to analytics is something that you are going to want as you're getting busier and growing for you to be able to take a look at. Now, I had mentioned integrations. Um, there are a ton, right? At the advanced level, there's a ton of things that you can do. There's Avalara for your taxes to automate your sales tax automation. But one of the ones I really, really want you to take a look at is Zapier. If you're unaware of what Zapier is, it's basically a way to connect a system like CommonSKU to really almost any other system that you would like. Now, what that does is it allows you to pass information from us to somewhere else. Zapier integrates with about 7,000 other applications. And so in Zapier, there are what are called triggers, which are like when something happens here, you want something else to happen somewhere else. Inevitably, as you're getting busier and as you're getting bigger, you're going to want integration with different systems. You're going to end up using different things for different pieces of your business. And so Zapier is a great way to be able to connect CommonSKU with some key stuff and push that information out. So we did a webinar on this a little while ago. You can find it in our webinar section at the top. We also had a really great blog post about 8 use cases for Zapier. If you're interested in seeing what that is, just email me. I'm happy to send it over to you. But this can do anything from like if you want an order created in CommonSKU, when that order is created, you want it to go and create an order with like the top level detail in a HubSpot or Salesforce or Monday.com, or you want it to drop into a Google Sheet. Maybe you love Google Sheets. Zapier allows you to do that. It's a super, super cool tool. Very, very powerful. There's a ton you can do with it. Just ask you go and take a look at that. If you're looking to like bind some systems together or get information out of ComSKU and have like another action happen somewhere else, this is going to be a key place for you to start and taking a look at Zapier and how stuff can kind of move back and forth. Even things like Slack. To give you an idea of another example, I a customer that every time an order is created and the order is under a certain margin percentage, they have like their sales manager gets like a Slack message with a link to the order and who the rep was, right? Even little things like that to monitor what's going on with your business with other reps within your business. That's a great use of this tool. So you're not having to spend a ton of time scrolling through, right? Setting up alerts, passing information is key. Um, the last two things I want to touch on, going from busy to growing or busy to bigger. Um, Shops is a really, really big part of that. If you have not looked at our Shops feature in quite a while, I will tell you that there were more features launched in kind of the last 365 days than I can probably fit into a 30-minute webinar on its own. There's a lot in here. If you're unfamiliar with our shops, They are a quick and easy way for you to spin up an online store solution for your customer. And we do everything from traditional company stores to creating a shop that is like a flyer for all of your customers to go and look at and order from, to our most popular, which is pop-up shops, which is like an aggregator, collecting individual orders, aggregating all of your individual orders into a master, and sending that out to your vendor to drop ship and fulfill, and then having that kind of be like a central source of all those one-off orders, creating a nice, easy way to aggregate them through. We have an awesome wizard here. If you have a shop to test out, it basically walks you through like, hey, like which shop should I be using? We've got a wizard built in here to help you. And if you want to learn more about the shop stuff, you can definitely do that. Tap into Book a Shop Talk, and that'll book you at the time with somebody from my team to walk you through how shops work and the best ways to be able to utilize them. I will tell you, building a shop on CommonSKU, if you know how to build a presentation, you know how to build a shop. It's that easy. It does not take long. And that's the whole purpose of them. Make it quick and easy for you so you can spin up these solutions with customers that aren't going to be like massive, massive time sucks. The other feature that is unique to the advanced package is portals. You can find portals in your sales section on the left under clients. There's actually a separate tab in here, which is called portals, surprisingly, where you can go and build out portals. Basically, what a portal is, you can build a portal for all of your clients. You can build it for a specific client. You can build it for all the clients with a specific tag. There's lots of different ways to be able to do that. But a portal is a place where the client goes, they log in, they have to be a recognized CommonSKU, a recognized contact on one of your clients in CommonSKU. So, you need to have them added as a contact to the client profile. But if you send them the link to the portal, basically they can log in and they have the ability to see um, kind of something like this. So this is a fake portal that we've built for Microsoft. So you can have like the scrolling banner. You can do it with all their branding colors, all of that stuff. They can go and they can visit any of the shops that you're running. And then from here, it's really a central place for your customer to be able to go in and see all of their active projects in one spot. They can see, the enhanced date. They can see what items are on the project. They can go and view the project specific portal, and allows them to kind of check in from a top macro level. Hey, what are all the jobs that we have going on with you, the distributor, right now? Now, to take that a layer forward, this is also where your customer can go in and they can place reorders. So they can go in and they can look at an order that they did 6 months ago, and they can say, oh, hey, we need to reorder those pens, or we need to reorder those hats or those shirts or whatever. They can go and they can actually find the order directly on here, see what they approved with the artwork, all that stuff, and they can reorder it directly through here. And this is a self-serve tool for your customer, right? You can imagine how big this is. If you can get all of your customers placing their own reorders, how much time is that going to save for you, right? For going again from busy to bigger, right? Taking this off of your reps plates of have them build out some portals, send it out to the customer, let them know, hey, this is a cool value add service for your customer of saying, hey, I built this portal for you. You can see all of your orders. You can place reorders in here. They can even choose to start a project with you if they want. So they can write in what they're looking for, when they need it, how much their spend is, and submit that. That auto generates a opportunity in CommonSKU and notifies whoever the rep is on this account that, hey, this customer started a new project with you. So how cool is that? How much time does that actually save you of, not having to place reorders yourself, not having to have those intro conversations or emails back and forth when your client needs something, right? That's where portals really start to shine. And we've seen a lot of traction on that side of things, being able to utilize those with customers. And it's all about how you spin it. It's about how you sell it to them, which is, hey, this is a convenience thing for you as in the customer. Really, it's a convenience thing for you as the distributor. But hey, I'm giving you all this data, all this information up front that you can go and take a look at. And now you have the power to do all these things, right? That's really the key to adoption, of showing how it's going to benefit your customer. Now, I know we're over time. The only other thing that I'm going to mention on here from like a busy to a bigger mentality, aside from core workflow, making sure you're using those features that are efficient, because as you're getting bigger, you're going to want to be as efficient as humanly possible. So your core workflow, having that down pat, having those rails set, using your decorator matrix to be able to do things faster, bulk updates, passing on credit card fees, doing approval and pays, all things to speed up transactions, into setting your goals, right? Like, what are your goals as you're getting bigger? And what data is available to you to analyze your team's performance through reporting? And then how do you connect with outside systems? How do you make it easier for your clients to work with you? And that's through things like shops and portals, to give them access to do these things, or make those tools, or build out those shops for them to make it easier to work with you, are all key. And the last thing I'll mention as we wrap up here is, if you're unfamiliar with this, or your team is not totally familiar, I would start to familiarize yourself really well with Connected Plus suppliers. Connected Plus suppliers are suppliers that we are directly integrated with. It means when you add a product um, from one of these vendors, it's pulling in your specific pricing, it's pulling in live inventory. It allows you to do live order status checks. So when you send a PO into Gemline, there is a button in your production report, which we talked about very briefly here, but there's a button in your production report to see what's going on with that PO, right? So we're pulling in your pricing. We're allowing you to check orders in real time. These are all efficiency things that make you less busy, because you're not picking up the phone to call the vendor and find out what's going on. You're not having to check the pricing of every single item on a vendor website, because that's pulling through. All of your connected suppliers are in here under the Connect Supplier section. But this is also where you can go, and when you pull a product in like this, just the pure setup of it is going to be faster, right? Traditionally, if you're setting up an item that is not a Connected Plus item, you have to go in and you have to click Add Decoration Location, type in all the information manually, except for maybe the actual pricing, which you're hopefully using a matrix for. But with a company like PCNA or Gemline or HIT, if you're using their items, it puts everything on rails. Like, this is a PCNA item that is promo standards or Connected Plus. So I'm not typing in where I want to print. I'm getting that data from their system of where I can print. And then I'm selecting how can I print on there? And I'm dropping in my color count. It's recognizing that, if I change this to 2 colors, that it's able to pull in whatever my pricing is for a 2-color imprint. You can see it automatically updated that. Again, thinking about this from a very, very high level of, you're busy right now. You're only going to get busier, hopefully. So how can we make things faster? So we're pulling in product data that's more accurate. If we're allowing you to select all of your charges from drop downs, and it's kind of on rails to do that faster, that part is going to be huge. And then being able to send in POs electronically to your vendor, which is how all the Connected Plus suppliers work. It's not an email PO, it's an EPO. It goes in, you click a button, it creates it in their system right away. You're trying to make this like process more seamless than it used to be. Getting familiar with your Connected Plus suppliers is going to be huge. That's everything I have for today. That is a lot of content that I squeezed into like 33 minutes roughly of pure talking. Um, I'm always available. If you saw stuff on here that you really want to learn more about, maybe you don't know enough about shops, maybe you want to revisit what's new on shops, feel free to reach out to support@commonsku.com. You can also reach us through the support chat, just through your resources tab on the left, and then clicking support. You can also email me directly. It's just aaron@commonsku.com. I'm happy to help you out, and make sure that you're setting all the right pieces up to go from busy to bigger. Almost like I planned that. All right. Well, other than that, enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and feel free to reach out. Let me know if there's anything that me and my team can help you with. Thanks.